What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the WayneBreezie Show. Listen, this episode is going to be crazy because we're going to be recapping day two of the 49ers training camp, and we're going to talk a little bit about Deebo Samuel compared to this DK Metcalf joint. Is he going to get signed real soon? Who knows? Stick around. All that and more. Offense, defense galore. Here we go. Turn up. Peace and blessings to everybody out there, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Moses in the building. I love it when he's here, man, because we gets that talk on for sure. I want to send a happy Friday shout out to everybody. Assalamu alaikum to everybody out there. Happy Friday. You already know what time it is. Thank y'all so much for being here. Let's get through the formalities real quick, Mose. We're going to be here. We're going to hit it and quit it today. I do want to open up the phone line, so let me go ahead and get that ready, and I'll get that number out there for everybody because I want people to call in, man. It's Friday. Call in on Fridays and have people kind of like get some stuff off their chest and talk about training camp and things that they like or things that they see, they dislike or whatever. But before we do that, formalities, bam. Listen, guys, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, youtube.com/WayneBreezie. Make sure you go get there, man. Trying to get it to 5K. We're also trying to get Mo's channel to 1K. He got a banging giveaway going on his channel, man. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to both. Go ahead and subscribe and follow on Twitch. It's free with your Amazon Prime account. You already know that you're going to get commercials if you're watching it on Twitch. So use your Amazon Prime account and not have to pay a dime or a penny and subscribe for free. Don't worry. Madden season will be starting soon on Twitch. So there will be more 49ers related content, especially for our video gamers out there that likes that. I might be going live tomorrow for the first time, trying to get these rookie cards going for that Danny Gray. So make sure you tune in. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/WayneBreezie. This is the channel where we're going to be breaking down film. We're going to be doing our, the all 22 breakdowns, the presser breakdowns and things like that. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe. You don't want to miss out on that. And don't forget to follow and super follow on Twitter at WayneBreezie. You can go ahead and give it a super follow. I think I'm going to be doing a giveaway very shortly for this Elijah Mitchell jersey. I just feel like it's not fair. I think I'm going to go ahead and just give it away to the 10 super followers that we have and raffle it off to them. And then we'll do something next month for the next super followers. All right. So that's what we're going to do over there. Instagram, follow at WayneBreezie too. And don't forget to go to the website, www.twben.com. You can also email at WayneBreezie. Email to WayneBreezie at twben.com. And for your latest in 49ers news, 49erswebzone.com. Yes, your boy is a writer over there. And shout out to all the people over there at 49ers Web Zone. Mose, man, how you feeling on this Friday, bro?
Feeling pretty good, man. Excited with some of the news that's coming out of the camp. There's some good, there's some bad. We're going to talk about it all, but this is the time where we want to see all of that. We want to get all of that stuff out, figure out what we need to correct, what we need to get better at. Find out, what are we doing well that we can improve on. So this is an exciting time.
For sure. The cool thing about camp is you go there to work on, your indifferences, your flaws, and you go there to make them better, right? You know what I'm saying? You also go there to, what's the word? You're trying to, I guess coagulate with everybody. I can't think of the other word I'm trying to think of, but you're trying to mesh. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to get together and you got, you haven't seen each other in a long time, It's not remember when we used to play football, bro? First 2 week conditioning. Oh my gosh. And was it me in Connecticut that they picked the hottest 2 weeks in August?
It's everywhere. They picked the hottest 2 weeks for conditioning, and you got to be out there, and it's like the sun is like, where are all the football fields? And I'm going to just sit directly on top of the football field.
Yes.
Bro. Terrible.
If anybody can relate to conditioning when they play high school football, put a thumbs up in the chat, because it was crucial. Matter of fact, it was what made me hate practice. Like, I hated the first 2 weeks. Now, the first week was conditioning with no pads. You know what I'm saying? And then the second week, you got your pads.
Don't put the pads and the helmets on, bro. Don't put the pads and the helmets on, bro. Oh, my. As hot as it get in that helmet,
Look, we
Like
got the
all of
thumbs up
that
all
heat,
over the place. That's what I'm
all of
talking
that
about.
heat and steam that's trying to escape your headpiece, just
Mm-hmm.
getting trapped inside of that helmet with you, and don't have
Mm-hmm.
a visor on.
Bro.
I was always
Yes.
one of the ones I had to be cool with the visor, but that kept more heated.
Yo. Were you one of the cool football players that had like one of the cool mouthpieces? See, I felt like back when I played football, there were no cool mouthpieces. You either had like the full joint that looked dope, or you had the the corny rubber joint, silicone joint that you put in the hot water and you had to let it kind of like mold to you. I don't know. Today they got dope mouthpieces. They got grills.
Yeah,
They got everything.
I got my joint downstairs. I think I had it on here one time. It's got like
I think I remember it.
It's the mouth covering piece, but it got the gold
It
chain
got
on
the
it.
gold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got a bunch of fly ones now. They didn't have them back when we was in high
That's
school.
what I'm saying,
So
yo. Shout out to the mouthpiece game.
I just had the full one that like covered the whole mouth because I basically wanted my helmet to look like a running back's helmet, even though I wasn't a running.
So you had the visor.
I had the visor, and I had the mouthpiece that was on the strap, so it just hung from the helmet when it wasn't in. Yeah,
yo,
I had all that.
You look like you could have been like a running back / fullback, bro. That would have been.
I mean, so I did play a little bit of tight end because of my speed and my ability to catch.
That's kind of scary,
and
bro.
They had me in some like Jerome Bettis, Mike Allstott packages on the goal line. So, I dabbled a little bit here and there.
Yo, I tell you what, man, if you want to lose weight, go to conditioning for football for 2 weeks. Your body will be, it'll be right. You know what I'm saying? Your metabolism will reset and everything. That's what it is. And don't add swimming to it because then you'll be full body worked out. All right, man, listen, we got some cool comments up here already, man. You know what? Let's talk NFL news real quick, bro, because there's a couple of things going on in NFL. We got to talk about this because Daniel Calderon says, hey, man, this wasn't the good comment. He had another one. He says, did you guys talk about the Kyler Murray change to the contract, bro? I've never seen the shenanigans that's gone on in football like we're seeing right now. It's almost like a soap opera. If you guys don't know what's going on, Kyler Murray signed like a crazy extension for like $230 million. But in that contract, there was a clause that he had to study film for like 4 hours a day or something like that. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I don't really care. I don't really want him studying anyway. I want him to go out there and be the worst quarterback ever, especially when he plays the 49ers. But like he felt some type of way about that. He kind of crybabied about it. He moaned, he complained. And the freaking Cardinals changed the clause in the contract. I got to get your thoughts on that, bro.
I mean, it's more ammunition for us to talk about the Arizona Cardinals and how of a messed up organization they are, because it's like, one, why would you even put that in there? And they tried to spin it like, oh, it was a joke. Nah, this is it. Why are we joking? Why are we putting jokes in a legally binding contract, first of all, and then to say, that clause that we put in the addendum doesn't reflect what we feel about Kyler Murray. The fact that we invested this long-term extension into him, it shows our commitment to him. Well, that's crap, because we talk about unconditional love on this show all the time, right? That's not unconditional love. Y'all showed him love with conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And now that there's this big media hoopla, now all of a sudden you want to say, oh, we can remove the conditions now. So, they removed it. Okay. Kyler, said his piece about it, but that means that something ain't right on the inside of that organization between quarterback, head coach, front office. It seems to be running a little bit deeper than what it seems. And if they start to struggle, which I hope they do, because that's one less team that we got to worry about, then that means some of those internal dominoes are going to start to fall, and we could start to see this thing crumble from the inside out. So it doesn't show strong signs of cohesiveness, collaboration within that organization. And as a Niners fan, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and like Daniel says, man, just to follow up with his question, he's like, the crazy part is he signed it. Like, Kyler, did you not read Listen, I've learned from now on.
And that's why they told his ass to study. That's why they put it in there.
Listen,
because he don't be studying and he don't be reading.
I start reading instructions now, bro, because it'd be some fine print. Like if you don't put this together right, you void your warranty or something. Like it'd be something crazy in the joints, bro.
Real small, real nonchalant. But if you don't read it, you don't know.
Yeah. It's crazy. How we get the naked the stuff in here already, man? Like we just started the show. It's a morning show too. On top of that, man. Like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. Listen, we got a couple of got a contribution we're gonna get to very shortly. Mr. BMW Lotus, man, it's good to hear from you. Haven't seen you in a minute. He says I have doubts because Beathard, Mullins, Jimmy G never developed into elite quarterbacks. And yes, I know Lance has more talent, but the facts are no elite quarterback developed by the Shanahan Lynch era. Guys, if you got special questions, we're going to do a question and Q&A segment, Mose and I believe we're going to have Rohan on here at some point when he wakes up and recovering from training camp. We'll do a Q&A session. Mose, go ahead and take this, bro, because this is a true statement now.
It's a very true statement, but I will add a caveat.
Okay.
It's hard to develop an elite quarterback when the quarterback does not have elite traits or skills. So CJ Beathard, probably the only elite trait or skill that he had was a strong arm. Nick Mullins didn't really have any elite traits or skills. Jimmy Garoppolo is Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's leave it at that. So it's hard to develop an elite quarterback without elite skills. And Mr. International is spot on with that. One, I don't think Scangarello helped in developing those guys. So bringing on Brian Greasy and Clay Kubiak, I think that will help Kyle Shanahan, but then also Trey Lance with his elite skills. We know he's able to process information quickly. We know he's able to handle high volumes of information, and difficulty of that information isn't hard for him to process. We know he has a strong arm. We know he has good field vision. We know he's able to read defenses. We know he is athletic and it can escape the pocket and can run if need be. So Trey has elite traits that need to be molded into being an elite QB. So now that we have the specimen that we can mold, let's give Shanahan an opportunity to mold him and see if he can then turn him into an elite QB with those traits.
I agree with that. And not only that, just to add to that, this is a quarterback that Shanahan picked. And so he didn't pick those up. I mean, he picked CJ Beathard, but you knew daggone well in that third round that CJ Beathard wasn't going to be that guy. No one ever heard of CJ Beathard. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think Kyle Shanahan's heard of CJ Beathard. What he liked from CJ Beathard was the fact he could get the ball all the way down the field, because that was when we had the speedster out there on the outside. You figure you have him run deep, boom, boom, boom. And then Kyle Shanahan realized that wasn't going to fly because he couldn't process the game, and he didn't have other skill sets. He was a tough guy, though, very tough guy, just didn't have the skill set to process the game. So he had to go other routes. They traded for Jimmy G. Jimmy G was a better processor. He was definitely starting quarterback material, but when it came to certain skill sets, Jimmy just didn't have them. And the league, remember, the league changes every year. I would say they get faster. They still get stronger. They get quicker. Like, it just gets different. And so if your quarterbacks aren't possessing some of these traits that these defensive players have, then your quarterback's just going to be sitting duck. Listen, Tom Brady, even Tom Brady, as slow as Tom Brady is, he can move out that pocket. Like, it's slow. He might not move fast, but he gets out the pocket. Like, he knows when the play is about to break down. And you can say that's because Tom played for 95 years. But still, man, like, you have to have that skill set to say, oh, shoot, pocket's collapsing. Let me step up. Let me step to the side. Let me step to the, and so I just felt like Jimmy didn't have that. And I know Trey has that. And he did it yesterday in practice a couple of times to avoid a couple of sacks. We'll talk about the offense and the defense, the struggles, the highs, the lows, all that good stuff. Let's get to the super chat contribution from my brother Sean. Touchdown Foghorn for you, baby. Speaking of helmets, Have you seen Doug Flutie's forehead since retiring? Holy white Klingon. D. Watson starting to get it too. Murray in multiple different ways to study. Didn't major in English. He just didn't major in reading. Like, yeah, that's what it was. Like, he just doesn't like to read. And I get it. Or you know what, Murray? I don't know how much money he has, but he had money for being a first pick, like first round, a top draft pick, right? He should have just hired somebody to read his contracts. That's it. Read it. Give me the
That's what his agent is for, and his lawyers.
I guess, bro.
They were supposed to read that. That's why you hired them.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe he didn't hire the right ones because he didn't know how to read their contracts. Maybe in their contracts it said, "I ain't reading shit." Sure, thank you for the contribution, bro. Listen, it could be something simple like that. What's going on, PG? I don't know. But listen, man, Kyler Murray got his contract clause waived somehow, some way. Speaking of other news, let's do this because I want to talk about Deebo Samuel in a second. Again, Deebo was there day 2 training on the outside of the facility, just running up and down the field, doing right. Deebo, I saw a video of Deebo running. God dang, he got faster. Like, I know he isn't pads on. That boy got wheels.
But I'm seeing a video of Ayuk. He looks faster too.
Joe, like, what's going on?
I don't know. They look faster.
I'm telling you, it's a Kyle Shanahan trick. It's like, I want you to run at 3 speed. You know how you got a bike and you can switch the speed. You change the gear, you can switch the speeds. Mm-hmm. I think if you looked at Deebo, year 1, it was a speed. You were like, all right. Year 2, it was like, he can't stay healthy. Year 3, he done changed to the highest gear, fast speed, and now he looks even faster. And I think he's doing that for the same, just so that he doesn't give the league like so much to work with. Like, if you keep the deception of the speed for these guys, the league won't know how to catch up to it. So now if Brandon Ayuk got faster, which it looks like he got faster, I'm talking about catching the ball over the middle, quick, boom, boom, boom. It's going to be crazy out there, yo. Even getting to the sideline, turning around when we talked about that pass he caught yesterday. I mean, on the first day. Like, that was quick. Danny Gray speed, though, I think is too quick. I don't think Danny should be running those out routes, bro, because even though he completed the pass, he ran it kind of too fast. That's got to mess with what you call his timing, don't you think, Trey Lance? They got to get that right.
Well, listen, you heard Michael Irvin say it. Michael Irvin says it every year, every single year for like the past 4 or 5 years. He said it at the combine. He said it's great to have 4.3, 4.2 speed. Mm-hmm. But one thing that a lot of those 4.2 and 4.3 receivers can't do is run crisp routes.
I knew
he was like, look at guys like me, look at guys like Jerry Rice. He was like, we were able to get in and out of our breaks because we don't have to throttle down from 90 miles an hour. So when we're turning, when we're cutting, when we're breaking down and making a move, it's a little bit more crisp for us because our breakdown, our slowdown from running full speed isn't as abrupt as it is for somebody who's running 4.2. So it's great to have that speed, but some of the best wide receivers in the league don't run 4.3. Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, they don't run 4.3. They may not even run 4.4. But they're route running. That route running, getting in and out of breaks, being able to create separation because you can get in and out of breaks fast. To me, that's more important than that top end speed. It's great to have it, but like you said, him running out routes, maybe that's not his thing, and that's okay. If he's running bubble screens, get the ball, make something happen. Mm-hmm. If he's running quick slants, drags, running post routes, cool with that. Maybe him running the 5-10 yard ins and outs, maybe that's not in his bag of tricks. Maybe that's not in his route tree, but that's okay.
But it looks like they're working on it, right? They're trying to make it part of his route tree because if he can shimmy and get open in that 5 to 10 yard span and catch the ball, catch a defender like just trailing just a little bit, catch it on the out and be able to turn up. There's nobody catching him, bro. Like everybody else
there's nobody, but You got to be elite to do that. Like the
I
only
know.
receivers I know the only receiver that I know that's that fast that can do that is
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek.
Right. He could stop and go
And
real quick.
maybe Brandon Cooks.
I feel like he runs deeper
he's
routes than
he
the
runs
out.
he runs deeper routes, but I think his route tree is a little bit better for a 4-3 guy.
That's fine.
Because he did it in New Orleans,
He
he
did
did
it
it in
everywhere he went.
LA,
He did it in
he's
New
doing it in
England.
Houston.
Yep.
Like he can run all the route tree
That's a good point.
because those shorter guys that have that speed have a lower center of gravity. So it's a little bit easier for them to make those cuts and those transitions while they're running their routes.
Got you. Now, at no way we're throwing shade to Danny Gray's speed.
No.
I'm just saying that this could be somewhat of a hindrance until it's worked out. It's a timing thing, right? The ball was there. He caught the ball. It was a good catch. Boom. But I got nervous when he had to make the cut to stop. And I was like, dang, like, what if his knees give out or something like that? Because he had to cut and stop hard.
Right.
Because it's too quick. He's too quick.
And knock on wood.
I'm
not wishing it on the young kid at all.
For sure.
That's where you see a lot of the ACL injuries.
Oh, okay. And I don't want people to get the wrong idea. That's not what we're saying.
No.
Like I said, the route was crisp. The catch was perfect. The throw was perfect. He caught it. It was nice. I was just like, okay, I don't know if I want him running these routes, but good thing they're putting him into his wheel tree just so that his route tree, just so that he, if he has that opportunity. Now, don't get it twisted. That boy is a deep threat, and he caught a deep bomb yesterday in practice.
And here's the thing. One thing that he has to learn is maybe I don't pedal to the floor if I know I'm running out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't go full speed off the line like I'm running a go route.
Mm-hmm.
or I'm running a deep post.
There you go.
Or I'm running a deep crosser. Maybe I just had, like we talked about, maybe I half speeded. Maybe I 75 speeded. I make them feel like I'm about to go, but because I'm only going 75, my 75 to somebody on the other side of me, if I'm running low 4.3s, my 75% is 4.4.
Exactly.
And if I'm going up against a corner who is either 4.4 or 4.5, my 75 still looks super fast to them. So my 75 looks like, oh, I might be running a go route, right? I might be running a deep post. I might be running a deep cross. But at 75, it's easier for me to break down and go into that 5-10 yard in, 5-10 yard out instead of running that full throttle out the gate. So I understand that he's trying to show that he's a hard worker and he puts 100% into every rep. But sometimes you also got to know when to throttle down, when to not, put the pedal to the metal and, pace yourself.
Now, I'm not saying Deebo Samuel has the same type of speed as Danny Gray, but if you remember rookie Deebo Samuel, you know why he was getting injured a lot? It's because he was forward to the floor the whole time, every route, like 0 to 100. And I remember watching, I think it was Eric Crocker and Brian, and I remember watching Peacock, and I remember them talking about it. And he had I think a wide receiver trainer on the show, and he was like, Deebo's force to the ground, like his step to the ground is so hard, his impact, it causes those little injuries that he was having. And then Deebo went and had like a crazy year last year. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that was before last year. Deebo does have speed, but this is why I'm hoping. I know Deebo's not like training with running the drills, but he's there in camp, and I'm hoping he shares that little bit of a knowledge, you know what I'm saying, with a guy like Danny Gray, because Danny Gray is the fastest player on the team. Just about. I would like to see Danny Gray in a race with Tariq Castro-Fields, straight up.
I think Danny takes it easy.
I don't know. They both ran like 4.3s, bro.
Yeah, I think Danny got more dog in him when it comes to competition.
Okay, there it is. All right, there you can't. You can't. Yeah, once you said dog,
listen, that's not a shot at Tariq. I just, from what I've seen from Danny watching film on him, like the dog in him is different.
Yeah.
So and it's, don't put money on the line. You put money on the line.
Oh, because that changes the dog.
You put money on the line. He gonna come out there with his shirt off, cleats laced up, and be like, "Yo, let's go."
Yo, let's get the 40 times of those guys. And then I see people already saying that. I see Kylie saying that Gray would smoke Castro Fields. Let's get their 40 times, Mose. And while you do that, I'll go ahead and look at some of these comments, man. I'm telling you, don't sleep. Tariq Castro Fields got the speed. He just can't tackle. He might end up being another wide receiver. He can't catch either. So look. All I'm saying is that now I'm gonna talk about DK Metcalf's contract, and the reason why we're gonna talk a little bit about his contract is because there are 2 wide receivers still left to be signed. All right, and we want to talk about Deebo Samuel. His extension. I call it the DSE, Deebo Samuel extension. All right, and we want to talk about that because there's some caveats that we feel are going to help fulfill this void. Now, Mose, and I think every other 49er faithful fan in the world knows Deebo is going to get extended. We know he's going to be here. Bump all that. I don't want to be
he getting smoked.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Castro Fields ran a 4.47.
I thought he ran a faster time. Don't we got a faster DB on the team? Womack? Somebody's fast.
I think Womack ran a 4.3. I mean, at the combine, Castro Fields ran a 4.47, 4.48.
Okay.
And at his pro day at Penn
State, he ran a
4.38.
That's where I'm getting the 4.3.
Danny
Gray ran a 4.34?
4.3 flat.
Damn.
4.33.
Okay, so closer to the 4.4. All right. Now, Sean. Now, if you could do me a favor, pull up Samuel Womack's 4.3 from the combine. I don't even think he ran at the combine.
I don't think he performed at all at the combine.
But I think he ran a 4.3. I listened to you, Kylie. I just couldn't remember. Ambry ran a 4.3, but Ambry don't appear to be as fast as his 40 time, bro. Ambry doesn't appear to be fast as his 40. I don't think I would put. All right, John V says Danny Gray versus Marquise Goodwin. I would say Goodwin because he just knows how to run track.
And yeah, Goodwin's he's a track athlete.
He's a track athlete.
He's more of a track athlete than he is a football player.
They said Womack was a 4.39. Yeah. All right.
Again, no disrespect, but I think
Danny Gray's there. He's the fastest guy on the team. And that's what we're trying to figure out, like, who's the fastest guy on the team. Well, Thesis says Elijah Mitchell ran a 4.3. He don't look like he runs a 4.3, though.
Don't.
I
thought he was gonna look faster.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of times where he got chased down last season.
Yo, at the goal line, bro.
Yeah. So
like, Mostert wasn't getting chased down, bro.
Hell no. Soon as he hit the open field and that stride opened up, he was
Audi 5,000.
Gone.
Oh, you know what? Danny is a track guy too. Remember, Danny ran track in college, but when they asked him that at the presser, he was all football though. He's like, don't bring that track stuff. Whereas Marquise Goodwin played football, but remember he was at the Olympics. Remember,
trying to go to the Olympics. He's trying to go to the Olympics. That stuff. So
thanks, Dimitri. You're right. DeMarcus, you guys are right. All right, let's talk about this.
Lake City Fresh said Danny versus Ray.
What is Ray's speed though? Ray looks more quick than the speed.
Yeah, and I pulled it up. I think a while back. I think Ray ran like a 4.5 in the 40.
No way.
He seems faster.
He just seems quicker. You know what it is? All right. So 4.3 speed, guys, is straight. It's vertical. When the guys run 4.5, but they seem it's because they're running side to side, yo. And I kind of prefer that because even though on the football field you want them to go north and south, we run a lot of outside sweeps, outside zones, toss sweeps, all that type of stuff. And so, we need that quickness. We need that cut. That's the one thing, bro. I know y'all don't like him. That's the one thing I like about Jermichael Hasty, bro. His cut. He got a cut. He can cut in, and you be like, damn.
When he stick that foot in the ground to change directions, bro, it's it's lightning fast.
It's lightning fast. It's almost like a crossover in basketball. It's like, whoop, and then you're gone. Now, can he hold on to the ball? That's another question. That's not where we at. We talk about speed. We ain't talking about holding on to the ball. That's a whole nother thing. All right, man. So DK Metcalf got extended on yesterday. The details of his extension: 3 years, $72 million contract extension with Seattle. All right, through the 2025 season. That's a total of $58.2 million guaranteed. Now, Mose, that's not the highest guarantee for a wide receiver. Even in that class, I think I want to focus on that class. Mose, you used to have that list up about the highest paid wide receivers, because I want to focus on
I do.
that class, the Debo, the McLaurin, the AJ Brown, those guys, if we can do that.
So right now, it is the highest guarantee amongst
There it
those
is.
guys.
And that's where I was getting. I think that was when we talked behind the scenes, that's what I was alluding to. But what also is he the highest in?
So DK's extension is 3 years, $72 million. 58.2 of that is guaranteed. But he also received a $30 million signing bonus, which is the highest ever
For wide receivers.
in NFL history
Of all
for
positions.
receiver.
Oh, for receivers.
Yes.
Okay. So for receivers.
So he got a $30 million check up front.
So yesterday, they wrote a $30 million check.
$30 million check. Now, I don't know. I don't want to know what the taxes on that is going to be, but it
I'd have
don't
told them to
matter.
break that joke up into $1 million a week or something like that. Yo.
I don't know what the taxes on 30 million going to be, but because I have so much in the pot.
How does this person keep coming back? I'm sorry. I'm
because it's new accounts every time. Like the front part is the same, but everything after the flame emoji is different.
They're good. They're quick with it, bro. Jeez. $30 million bonus. All right, let's talk Debo, bro, because that's what they want to know.
Right.
Debo Samuel. Now, the poll question, make sure you guys go ahead and get that vote on, man. The poll question is, what will Debo get Debo's deal done quicker, more guaranteed money, or the bigger signing bonus? Now, see, this is going to come down, bro, to the years. I don't even think it's coming down to the language in the contract as far as what Debo's role is going to be. Will Debo study 4 hours a day? All that type of stuff. They ain't going to be that. None of that matters. It's going to come down to what is Debo's guarantee going to be, and then what is his signing bonus. And if the 49ers are smart, they'll do the signing bonus and lower that guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, if we're you mentioned you wanted to focus on, the guys in this class. So
Correct.
DK is in the lead as far as guaranteed money at 58.2. AJ Brown is second at 57.22. And then Terry McLaurin is third right now with 53 million guaranteed. Now, AJ Brown has a higher average annual salary at 25 million a year. DK's at 24, and then McLaurin is at 23.3.
Okay.
So
this is about to get good because everybody's saying guaranteed money, and I like that because according to Debo's camp, he looking to be the highest paid wide receiver, probably in that class. He won't be higher paid than the other guys, Stephon Gilmore, Devontae Adams, those guys. But as far as that class, and we never made that differentiation. We just assumed that he wanted to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. But what if he was just asking to be the highest paid wide receiver out of that class? Now we talking.
I mean, that to me that makes sense.
59 million, bro. You 59 million and give him 30.5 million signing bonus.
Yeah, I mean, you could give him more than DK, and if you don't want to give, so AJ got 4 years, 100 million.
That's the other term.
Maybe you give Debo 3 years, 80 million, 60 million of that guaranteed, and 31 of that in a signing bonus or something like that.
Now, I think personally, and I asked this on Twitter, Notorious GAV, should Debo sign a 3-year or 5-year? I think Debo wants the 3-year. Yo, they are quick with it, Mose. I ain't never seen these quick bots.
That's crazy.
Dang. I'm blocking them. I'm putting them in timeout. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, guys. I apologize that the YouTube feed has been raided. All right. I think the 49ers, personally, I think the 49ers want to give him one of those George Kittle type of contracts. They were both elderly. Excuse me, that's the wrong term. They were both older, like aging receivers, right? George Kittle got that 5-year deal, and they were able to work with it more. You know what I'm saying? And just working the monies when they had to come under the salary cap and do things like that and pay them longer and over time. I think if I'm Debo though, I want the 3-year contract because I want to bet on myself and getting another max deal. What are your thoughts on that?
From the player standpoint, absolutely. I think you want the 3-year deal because right now Debo is 26. At the end of the 3-year extension, he'll be 29. So he's already going to be looked at as one of the older wide receivers in the league. And
Correct.
folks are going to say, why am I going to spend this much money on a name like Debo Samuel when I can go get, this younger receiver for cheaper, example, Christian Kirk, or I can, hedge my bets on a young guy in the draft and bring him in and try to develop him and see what he has. So from the team perspective, obviously they would want a longer deal, but from the player perspective, I don't think he's going to sign a 5-year, especially, with everything that happened and him even requesting a trade. And then the uncertainty around the running back situation and him not wanting to be used as a running back anymore, to extend the length of his career. If I'm Debo, I take the 3 years, bet on myself, and then at 29, maybe I can show and prove to somebody that, hey, I can be in this league, I can stay healthy until I'm 33, 34, 35 years old. So at 29, you giving me another 3-year deal, 4-year deal till I'm 32, 33 years old, you'll get a return on your investment if you sign me. So if I'm Debo, I'm definitely taking the 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. And I think the 49ers are trying to give him the 5-year deal. I'm going to keep it a buck. I think that's what they're trying to do, extend that money over a long period of time. That's less money for them yearly, and Debo still will be paid higher. Now, you're going to have to inflate those numbers. So you were talking 381. Now we're talking 510 million, something like that. It's going to have to be in that category, with the guarantee still being at least at that maybe 50, 60, 50, high 50s, early 60s still. And then maybe you reduce the signing bonus just a little bit. If Debo does that type of contract, that means Debo wants to be a 49er. So that means he wants to be here, for his tenure. And he was good. And the only thing I don't know. I think the 3-year deal is what he's looking to sign. I see a lot of people saying 4, and you could do the 4-year deal. There's only one of those wide receivers they got the 4-year deal extension, and that was AJ Brown. So that could be where Debo is, and that could be the contract we need to be looking into. But we will see. AJ Brown is not as old as Debo Samuel, so it's a little different. And we'll see where it's going to come down to. Daniel says, is y'all owner willing to do big signing bonuses? Our Rams owners don't give a damn.
So the reason why AJ signed a 4-year deal because he's 25.
So he's
only a year younger than Debo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he signs a 4-year deal, that takes him to 29. If Debo signs a 3-year deal, that takes him to 29. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're right.
And let me see how old Terry is.
I think Terry's what, 24, 23?
26.
Also, these are the older deals. Like we're getting into it.
So all of these guys are signing 3-year deals because that's taking them to when they're 29. And again, like I said, Madden starts regression at 27. But at 29, you're still looked at to be in your prime. So as long as you stay healthy and, you keep your numbers where they are or even increase your numbers get better, then, you can get another huge deal at the age of 29. Look at Tyreek Hill.
Correct.
Look at Devontae Adams. Those guys got major contracts.
Right. And if I'm Debo and
DK is the youngest at 24. And so he signed a 3-year extension. At the end of this contract, he'll still be 27.
And that could be the juju of the agent too, because don't they have the same agent or something like that?
I think they all do, yeah.
Yeah, and so this guy is caking. Sean with a contribution says, "Is it me or does Debo look like he's sponsored by Chick-fil-A?"
I don't get
Does
that
Debo
one,
look
Sean.
bigger? Debo does look a little. He looks a little stockier. Doesn't look fat at all, in my opinion. He looks stockier, but like we said earlier in the show, from the training, the videos that I watched, that Mo's watched, that dude looks faster. So I don't know. Look, all I know is
I didn't even think he looked stockier to me. I think he looked like Debo.
okay. All right. Well, Sean thinks Debo is the diva, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. And so, it is what it is. All right, let's do 3 more things and then we'll open up the phone lines. Let's talk about the offense from yesterday, man. The offense was slow, bro. Started off slow, man. Offensive line was different. It was actually the same offensive line from day one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So you had Colton McKivitz, you had Aaron Banks. I think this time, though, they inserted Daniel Brunskill into the starting center position. And then who was right guard? Spencer
Burford again.
Burford. And then right tackle was
Jalen Moore.
Jalen Moore. Okay. So the offense looks slow. I do have some stats for you guys to talk about as far as the quarterbacks. People really only care about what the quarterbacks are doing. So let's go ahead and put these Matt Miyoko reported for those keeping score. 49ers practice Thursday from afar. Trey Lance was 7 for 15. Like I said, he didn't have like his best day. He was 9 for 11 day 1, 7 for 15 day 2. I'm surprised nobody started saying, was he arm fatigued? He had 1 interception. Nate Sudfeld was 12 for 14 with an interception. Brock Purdy, 4 of 6, 2 interceptions. Let's talk about these quarterback performances, bro. And let's talk about why we think that the offense was slow. And then we're going to go ahead and add my bro Rohan up in here. What's going on, baby?
How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing?
Chilling, man.
Up,
We're just sitting here talking about the slow start to the offense on yesterday. Moses is about to speak, and then we would love to get your take on it.
Go for it.
Yeah, for me, everything that I'm hearing is obviously it's the ineptitude of the offensive line. Right now, we have a bunch of young guys who are still trying to figure their way and trying to find their way. Obviously, don't want to put too much on their backs right now because we're not in pads. And as we know, when you're in the trenches, both offensive and defensive line, that's when you shine. D'Amico Ryan said it himself in his press conference yesterday. That's when you really shine, when the pads come on. But obviously, when it comes to offense and, learning, the new facets that Kyle is trying to install for this year's version of the offense, it's going to take a little time to get acclimated to that. Whereas the defense, we talked about, early on in camp, the defenses are usually firing on all cylinders. And Breezy, you mentioned it when we talked about ranking our defenses yesterday, and that this team is not going to be a top 3, but a top 2 defense.
I'm telling you.
They are practicing like they are a top 2 defense. And that's putting a lot of pressure on our young offensive line that does not have any cohesiveness yet. That's putting a lot of pressure on our young, quarterback who's also trying to figure his way out. So to me, in context, this makes a lot of sense. But it's good adversity for Trey to go through, to see, to experience, to kind of go back and watch the film and figure out, what he can do differently. And we'll see today. We'll see today if his response from yesterday's practice, changes with how he performs today. He even said it in his press conference. He was like, I understand, we're going up against a good defense, but all in all, I think it was a good day because no matter how many incompletions or turnovers that we had, the turnovers are too many, but we're learning, we're growing, we're getting better. So as long as we can take a step forward, it's a good day. So I'm excited to see how him and the rest of the offense rebounds today.
All right. And Rohan, I mean, like, you were there.
Real quick, Kyle Shanahan just reported Arik Armstead sprained his MCL in practice.
I knew it was an injury.
Yesterday, out a few weeks, but it's not considered serious.
I knew it was an injury.
Which is interesting. I didn't see this. He was dominating, but I mean, like, it's interesting because like the first team doesn't always play that much, right? Especially first day. So you don't necessarily notice the injury occurring. And he was dominating when he was on the field, but okay, that's interesting.
All right, there you guys. Breaking news right here, man, on the show, man. Listen, Eric Armstead sprained, what you said, MCL?
Sprained
MCL
MCL, yeah.
All
will be
right.
out 2 weeks, but it's not considered serious. Probably will be back by the start of the regular season.
All
Yeah.
right. And there you have
Sit
it.
him,
So
sit him down.
yeah.
Eric Armstead is one of the players that I don't need to see much from.
Yeah,
And if Rohan is saying that he was dominating, we already know he's in phenomenal shape. He came out, he was dominant. So we know what we're getting from Eric Armstead. Let's not push it. Let's not rush it. Sit him down, put him on the bench for the rest of the training camp. I don't want to see him in preseason. Let's get him healthy and ready for week 1.
100%.
Uh, I'm gonna before you talk, Rohan. Remind me at the end of the show to send Kyle Shanahan a text message and tell him to stop effing up our views and going live while we're live. He can't do that. Like that's not what he should be doing. That's not good head coaching. He's not preparing properly. All right, Rohan, you got the floor.
Yeah, today is a closed practice. That's why I'm not there. Tomorrow is when I think tomorrow or Monday is when practice resumes. But yeah, Trent Williams. This is the family thing. I think that's what he
Yeah,
wasn't there today either. I
yeah, he
probably
was giving birth. Or his wife was giving birth. I had got
yeah
that information a couple of days ago. I didn't want to disclose it until Trent Williams and the team disclosed it because just the respect and privacy of their family. And so, yes, just Trent Williams. Congratulations to Trent and his
Yes,
family on welcoming
congratulations.
a new baby into this world, man. That's what's up, man. We're gonna have a baby silverback.
And real quick before I talk on the offense, I really don't mind that Ark Armstead won't be there for the next few weeks because I want to see what Kevin Givens had. Kevin Givens has actually had a couple of good practices. He played with the first team yesterday. So how it's been is it was Armstead and Kinlaw on the inside, and then it was
Givens and Hurst.
Osa and then Ebucom on the outside for in base packages, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
Given subs in for Kinlaw to begin practice, and then O'Menihue subs in for Ebucom. That was yesterday's lineup, but sorry, that was 2 days ago's lineup. Yesterday, Givens was in the base package starting with Armstead out, and then it was the same. And then O'Menihue actually subbed in. He's the interior guy yesterday. He started on the interior in place of Armstead, and then I think it was Jordan Willis who initially started, but then Drake Jackson got a bunch of reps on the outside.
Okay. All right. That's good
Yeah,
to know. Really good to know. All right, so let's talk about this offense, man. Because, like I said, I don't care honestly who we put in there on the defense. It's gonna be stacked. The rotation is gonna be crazy. We don't know who's gonna actually make the squad. But listen, if Kevin Givens is having a good camp, that's bad news for Maurice Hurst. So I'm hoping Hurst is having a good camp. I heard he was doing well out there. So this is a really good problem to have. And we'll talk about the defense in a second. But let's flip this to the offense because I think the team and I think the fan base wants to know. They felt like the weakest link was the offensive line. All right, and you're seeing the weakest link be the offensive line in practice, right? And so, what are your thoughts on it so far? I mean, I know that they're not the starters, right? But they're still getting worked. So, what are your thoughts so far?
yeah. So far, like remember when it's no pads, the defensive line always has the advantage, regardless of who's playing. Defensive line always has the advantage because they don't have to worry about technique. They don't have to worry about anything. They can just rush. Well, the offensive line does have to worry about all the nuances of the offensive line. Then again, you pile that on with how our defensive line is just stronger than our offensive line, and that adds to it. Yesterday was a rough day for the offensive line, but I'm not as worried as what the reports were saying. So there were at least 5 sacks yesterday. At least I didn't necessarily count every single one because the sack is either they're just touching the quarterback or they give
Mm-hmm.
up on the play. And some of the plays just get extended anyway. The quarterback just chooses to continue the play once they get sacked. But there were a ton of sacks, ton of pressures yesterday. The main names that popped out were, well, we'll talk about that when it comes to defense. But offensively, I'd
Did you
actually think.
did they tell you who gave up the sacks? I know they were just touches, but
They don't say. I kind of write it down. So if I catch it, then I write it down.
gotcha.
Yeah. So since it is offense, I can say Skule had a rough day.
Okay.
Skule, in my opinion, was one of the worst players on the field yesterday. He he struggled not only like I know he had a false start, which is not a good thing for a second or a third offensive lineman. And then he also gave up a couple of pressures. Drake Jackson beat him. Some of the edge rushers beat him. He played purely as the third string right tackle. It was McGlinchey who didn't play in scrimmage. Then more than it's him, and so he did give up a couple of bad plays. So he struggled. McKivitz also did struggle, but he went up. He's the first team guy. He went up against Bosa, gave up 2 sacks. And then Jalen Moore had a little bit of a rough day as well. He gave up 1 sack to Drake Jackson. Gutierrez, I know, gave up a sack. Jason Poe struggled as well. For those of you, I know a lot of people like Jason Poe. He's unfortunately not going to make the roster, but yeah. So it was all around. I know Aaron Banks also struggled. He didn't struggle. He had 1 bad play. He gave up 1 to Maurice Hurst. So it's like going all around.
Boy. It's my boy.
Yeah.
See, look, I want people to not like get flustered or worried yet. All right. This is day 2 of training camp. You're working with the second and third strings with the first string defense. Like I just want you to understand that. And if Nick Bosa ain't blowing up Jalen Moore and any other guy other than Trent Williams, then Nick Bosa has a problem. He should be blowing them all up. All of them should get blown up. Unless it's Trent Williams, Nick Bosa should be blowing past just about everybody. And so I want people to understand like that's what's going on with the offensive line. Kyle is probably really just trying to test out to see. And this is what we need. We want to see it in the preseason games. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the starting line, if that's the starting lineup, offensive lineup in the preseason game. I wouldn't be surprised because Kyle wants to see it in action. Maybe they play different when they're in live action. And again, for offensive linemen, Mose, will you tell these people when you don't have pads, offensive linemen can't really dig in like they really want to? It's always like Rohan said at the beginning, it's an advantage for the defense. Offense line these pads. We'll see what they're really working with on Monday. But we knew that the offensive line was going to be the issue like going into training camp. So let's act like we knew that and let's not get all flustered about it. We knew it was going to be that. We do know that Mike McGlinchey is going to be back. You saw that in the chat that they said that he's going to be full go today and practice.
Tomorrow is what they're saying.
All right, so
tomorrow,
full go. All right, and that's what's up. So they're going to be a full go in practice. That means they get the green light, and that's going to be what's up. On Monday, they're going to be in pads. This is going to be really great to watch, and see how they really truly develop under that pressure when they're able to put the stick in and hitting on somebody. So I'm not too concerned about the offensive line. Let's talk about some of the positives from the offense. I know Trey Lance had a rough start. What is he, 7 for 15 or something like that? But he had a good finish.
Yeah, on the day. And if we're being honest, it's not as rough as it thinks. When you think 6 of 14, you're like, damn, his inaccuracy is that bad. Guys, Trey Lance he was not nearly as bad as the numbers show. He had a couple of really poor throws, I'll say that. He started off here. I'll pull up my notebook. I know he started off the day rough. Meaning his first 3 throws were incompletions. His first throw, he got sacked. Play continued. He threw an incompletion over the middle of the field. It was a dart. It was Brandon Ayuk. Charvarius Ward knocked it away. It was like a 50-50 type of ball, a little dangerous, but it was probably 15, 20 yards down the field. It was a dart, and it was Charvarius Ward just knocked it out. It was an all right throw, just way better coverage. Then his second throw, it was to Brandon Ayuk. Another like slowish of a start. He was trying to hit Ayuk on a somewhat of a 20-yard out route, just overthrew Ayuk a bit, who was being tailed again by Ward. And then the third throw was the second worst one I'd say of the day. Juwan Jennings, 5-yard slant, threw it about 5 yards behind him. That was just where he just didn't have the touch on the ball. But some of the positives, some of these incompletions could have been catches as well.
I heard 2 touch receiver hands, bro.
Yeah. I'll first start Brandon Ayuk. There was a 35-yard play down the left sideline. Lance threw a nice ball. Ayuk had it at first. Mosley did a great job. He pinned him to the sideline. And then as Ayuk was coming down, struggling to keep 2 feet in, Mosley hit the ball away. A nice play by Mosley. The second play I'll mention, right sideline. Juwan Jennings on Charvarius Ward. Jennings was used as somewhat of an outside receiver yesterday, with obviously Ayuk taking the 1. Jennings was the 2. He was penciled in against Ward. It was a nice 40-yard throw. It was 40 yards down the line. Good job by Juwan Jennings, who originally had it, couldn't corral it. Ward knocked it out. That's another PBU there. And then the third one was Ray McLeod coming in from the left slot, going towards the right sideline. He was about to make the play. Hufanga bursts in just to flex the ball before McLeod could make the play. It was a nice throw again. Another PBU. So, like, there are nice throws being made. It's just the defense was just having a great day getting their hands on the ball. I think it was 5 total pass breakups yesterday by the defense.
Mose, if the defense is that sharp and acute, and I'm not going to allude to the defense, how do you think this is going to benefit Trey Lance playing against
inferior opposition?
Yes.
He's going to go crazy.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to go crazy. And I think that's another benefit I think that even last year people neglected to see. He's going to get better because of the defense he's playing against. Prime example, look at Josh Allen. Look at how much Josh Allen has improved, but look at how good the Bills' defense is. Now, it doesn't always work out that way. That's not, a one-to-one correlation. It's not, a young quarterback going up against a solid defense, that's going to make them improve. No, but it can help because you're seeing everything. You're seeing how a corner, like Rohan said, pins my wide receiver to the sideline. And the more we practice that, the more Trey is going to be able to provide touch and put the ball in a place where Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel or Juwan Jennings can catch the ball, even in that tight coverage. If everybody else is covered and he has a spy on him and they're not allowing him to run, and this is the only thing that I have because it's one-on-one, it's deep. If it's not caught, it's an incomplete pass. This is my highest probability of success. He's going to be able to know, okay, I see that corner pinning my receiver to the sideline. I can still fit the ball in there. He's going to see how Hufanga made a break on that pass to break that up against Ray McLeod. He's going to see that and know maybe I need to get the ball out a split second faster. Maybe I need to tell Ray or whoever's running the route, this safety, based off of my film study, this safety is going to bite down, and it's going to bite down hard. So instead of running the route this way, run it this way, and I'll hit you there. So all it is giving him visual pictures of what things are going to happen to him in an actual game so that he's able to have a counter to it, and it's only going to improve the way he plays on the field.
This is good. Do you see how I'm always trying to find like that silver lining in just about everything? So whenever there's some type of adversity, like there's still good in it. And when you listen to Trey Lance speak yesterday, he was like, yo, I thought we had a good practice, right? And now, no, hear me out, because now after hearing the context from what Rohan said,
hey
man, even though he went 6 for 14 or 7 for 15 is what Matt Miyoko reported, even though he went with that, like, there's context behind it. Some of those throws weren't bad. They were just better defended.
If our defense was terrible, he's 12 of 15 instead of 7 of 15.
You get what I'm saying?
And now nobody is complaining.
Exactly. And, I mean, when you talk about it, I'm not going to try and sugarcoat the bad, right? His interception was just a Jimmy Garoppolo throw right to the middle. Jimmy Ward was standing where a linebacker would stand. He completely just didn't see Jimmy Ward on a throw to Brandon Ayuk, which would have been behind Ayuk as well, and that was an interception. But overall, what I'll say is it's not as bad as it seems. It wasn't great, but it's not as bad as it seems, and I don't think the offense necessarily is in shambles. I'm going to wait to see how the running game responds, because this
exactly
offense is overpowered right now, right by the defensive line.
They can't run the ball.
How does that work, though, when pads come on? Because we've got our offensive line right now is better suited for run blocking than pass protection.
Yes, sir.
Got athleticism,
especially with that line that they got out there right now.
Exactly. Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford, both are athletic freaks. I want to see how they move in the run blocking game. And then once that happens, when there's like the threat of it, right? because the 49ers defense can best detect when the 49ers offense is going to run. Other teams are going
Exactly.
to have a little more time to struggle. We'll see how
Exactly.
it is, how the 49ers offense can rebound from this. And if the defense then gets to struggle a little bit in the run game, other teams are going to struggle a lot more.
Was there a timetable on the Armstead return? I'm sorry.
Said a few weeks.
Said a few weeks.
So I'm assuming he's held out of preseason, and then he'll be ready for week 1.
Okay.
Yeah, a few weeks is all of August.
I got you. That makes sense. that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Let's shift to the defense, man, because I want to get people to call in. I want to have a little bit of time out for them to call in. Look, the defense looks strong out there, man. You started talking about it. We were going to talk about the secondary, and you saw Richard Sherman come out there and put that tweet out there in the world and was like, yo, before the season ends, y'all gonna be talking about how this secondary, not just the defense, because everybody that talks about the 49ers are talking about the front seven. He specifically talked about the secondary. Rohan, what did you see from this secondary? Now, like you said, they had 5 PBUs on all the quarterbacks out there last night. I want to know what you saw hands-on. Javarius Ward got some burn. Finally, they threw to him. They weren't scared to throw to him. Talk about the defense, secondary, and specifically.
Maybe they should have been scared to throw for him, because he had 5 passes thrown to him and only 1 catch allowed. 2 PBUs, 2 incompletions, only 1 catch allowed, and that was just on a good play by the offense. Lance extended the play. It was probably 7-8 seconds long. Ayuk ran to his left. Lance crossbody throw hit Ayuk for 20 yards while Ayuk was falling down. Good play by Ayuk. And overall, Ward had a great day. But one thing I'll point out, 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions yesterday.
We talked about takeaways.
That's something that's been lacking from this team. And I mean, obviously, I'm not saying one practice will translate to game days, but that's something that's been lacking from this team. And we saw 4 picks yesterday. Obviously, 2 were from Mr. Brock Purdy, who doesn't necessarily have a really strong arm. So take it with a grain of salt. Those picks should not have been picks, but they just traveled in the air for like 50 minutes, man. But Brock Purdy, yeah, we'll talk about him later. But 4 interceptions, that was nice. But overall, it was a strong day by the defense. And I'm just specifically talking about the secondary because the defensive line dominated. It seemed like everybody got in the action. Defensive tackles that stood out were Givens and Hurst. I think those 2 were the top 2 that stood out. Omenahue got some run with the interior too. The edge rushers, though, everybody's favorite, Drake Jackson, he's out there and he's performing. He had a couple of nice plays on the edge working against Moore and Justin Skule, opposite of Nick Bosa working against McKivitz. Those 2, I think, could have some serious run opposite of each other, because the 49ers, what it seems that they like to do, Omenahue is going to slide into the inside, and Omenahue is the number 1 edge rusher on the outside. And I know Jordan Willis did start today in pass rushing situations, that is. But Omenahue might slide to the inside, and that guy out there might be Drake Jackson, at least for the majority of the reps, because he's looking good so far. He's looking way better than how he looked in minicamp, apparently. And so this is something that I'm excited to see. Can it continue? Will he have fatigue? Will there be a certain issue that pops up? When pads come on, will he be technically sound? Because that's the one thing. A lot of other players will be more technically sound than him because he's a little more raw, hasn't played the position as much. But I want to see, how does his traits and how does his technical ability translate when pads come on.
Question for you.
Yo.
You said they're moving Omenahue on the inside, and we kind of talked about that a little bit. Now, is that just for passing situations, you think, or is he going to have a significant role on the inside? Because I worry about that.
I think he's going to be primarily a pass rusher in 2022. I've seen Ebukam. Well, obviously you're going to have some rotation because Ebukam can't play every single run defending snap, but I've seen Ebukam line up as the starter on the edge every single time, with it being a variety of Kinlaw, Armstead, Hurst, and Givens on the interior starting. But I do think that as in pass rushing situations, they're going to have Ebukam play like a hybrid role of inside and outside. But it's more so like there are 2 reasons why. I think they do like Omenahue's like long frame and ability to get by guards with his skill set. But also, I think they just like their slew of edge rushers because they've got Jackson, a guy I haven't mentioned yet is Kamoko Toure. They have him in the fold as well. They've got a good amount of edge rushers in the fold that can pass rush. And so I think they want to just get their best 4 guys out there and see what they can do. Because Armstead is going to be there on the interior. He's going to see Nick Bosa is going to see double teams. And so they might spread these guys out. Maybe you have Omenihu and Bosa right next to each other, and then Armstead and Jackson next to each other. That means maybe one-on-ones for Omenihu and Jackson, who have shown capable so far that they can defeat these guys in one-on-ones, which means a lot more pressures because Bosa can defeat guys on double teams. Armstead could too. And so this just might be a wreaking havoc group that can just, like, I think there are so many names in this group that can just do it. And I think that it's just a good sign so far that the defensive line has been doing what they've been doing.
Absolutely. That's what I touched on last time when we talked about this. I do think Omenihu is a baller. I don't want to see Omenihu inside on rundowns, but if Omenihu is the replacement for Javon Kinlaw on 2nd and long, 3rd and long, when passing situations where we know the other team is going to pass, and we can put that pressure on those guards to have somebody who is just as long, who's just as physical and just as strong, but has a little bit more athleticism and speed to get by you in a pass rushing situation. I think that it bodes so much well for this defensive line. So yeah, that scenario that you mentioned, Bosa, Drake Jackson on the outside, Armstead and Omenihu on the inside on passing downs, that's scary. That is a scary combination. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, the one thing that I'll say real quick, I'm interested to see when running really becomes something important, who are the guys that end up being in there? Because one name I haven't mentioned and that I haven't seen too
Hassan
much.
Ridgeway.
Yeah, Hassan Ridgeway. I wonder what his role will be because he was going to be brought in primarily to pass rush. It's just he could never stay healthy, but he's kind of not been in the fold as much, I'd say, or he's not been as flashy as a Hurst, as an Omenihu in pass rushing situations, but primarily as a Kevin Givens. Like, I think there are 4 defensive tackles right now that are just above him on the depth chart. I like that. I know that Kyle likes to, the guys that haven't been in the building, he makes them work for it, right? And I don't think Ridgeway right now is a cut candidate just because of his contract. I think he got nearly $1 million in guarantees, but that is something that I'll continue to monitor because Hurst has definitely been getting more run with Givens. Givens is the number 1 guy behind Armstead and Kinlaw, but then it's Hurst instead of Ridgeway, and then comes guys like Ridgeway and Kevin Atkins. And honestly, Atkins and Robert Nikomdiche have looked better so far than Hassan Ridgeway.
So, I mean, do you think it's partly because they can place Ridgeway on the practice squad and he'll probably clear waivers, being that they have that veteran practice squad number like extended now? So do you feel like maybe that's what Kyle is looking for, and then they'll have like a nice reserve if something was to go down and still guarantee him that, that contract?
I think even if Nikomdiche balls out, I don't think he'll make the roster overall. He has the 4 years of accrued service. I think he's a prime practice squad candidate because if you have over 4 years, you don't have to go through waivers. You
Correct.
immediately clear waivers, become a free agent, and I'm sure the 49ers, if he continues to play as he played, I didn't see him much on Monday. I'll be honest. I didn't realize he was on the field on Monday. I saw him a lot yesterday, and he played a good amount yesterday. I think he had a sack and a half, shared one with Jackson, had another one on the Purdy interception. So he was playing good, albeit against 2nd and 3rd team interior guys. But if he continues to play well, I think he might be cut. And maybe 153 man people like IR and all that kind of gets handled if there are a ton of players like that. Maybe he gets brought back, or he's that prime guy on the practice squad because he doesn't have to go through waivers.
There it is. All right, 2 more questions for you, bro. Day 2 players that stood out. Then I'm going to open up the phone lines. Day 2 players that stood out from day 2, offense and defense. Ready, set, go.
Defense, right? Because that's the stronger side. Charvarius Ward, like we mentioned, the 5 targets, the 1 catch allowed. He was the guy. His counterpart, Mosley, he was the number 1. He was the best player on the field day 1, Mosley. He had 2 PBUs. Yesterday it was Ward. with the statistics that he had. Mosley didn't have a bad day either. 1 target, 1 PBU there. So 2 strong days there. And then on the line, like you mentioned, it was Jackson and Bosa. Those are my standouts, even though there were other players that were definitely in there as well. Those are the 4 guys on defense. On offense, Nate Sudfeld stood out. He tested the field, and while his accuracy, like he was in my books, I know a lot of people had it a little like very different. In my books, he ended the day 9 of 11. I didn't include flagged plays. There were a lot of plays where flags were thrown and they continued. So it might be like 12 or 14 or whatever it might have been. But Sudfeld was pretty solid yesterday. And what I liked was he tested the field. There was a play where Ayuk was being covered by Ambry Thomas. Thomas had soft coverage on him 10 yards out, but then George Odom was there over the middle. And then Ayuk ran a post towards the direction of Odom. And Sudfeld just let it go and hoped Ayuk would make a play. Ayuk jumped up, made a huge contested catch over Odom, and brought it down for 30 yards. So to me, that was something that I liked because you notice Sudfeld as somewhat of a game manager, right? He'll throw these 4 or 5 yard check down passes and then move on. I like to see him trying to test like his boundaries, trying to go deeper because the playbook was certainly scheduled to go deeper yesterday compared to Monday. And so that was one of the throws that I like from Nate Sudfeld. I think he definitely, I mean, I already knew that he was going to be QB2, but I think right now he could be a competent QB2 as of now. I don't think, like, my confidence in him has increased. I don't think he can necessarily win the 49ers games, but I don't think he's necessarily as bad as I expected him to be coming into training camp. So he's a guy that stood out to me. Another guy on offense, it's somewhat tough on offense given the how kind of poorly in a way that they played, although it wasn't that bad. I'll talk about a guy who's somewhat of a sleeper pick for people, Jordan Matthews. Jordan Matthews was there on Monday. He had a catch on Monday and had another nice catch for 23 yards from Sudfeld yesterday going across the right sideline. A lot of people are talking who's going to be that tight end if it appears to be Kittle and Warner right on the depth chart. And then who's going to be that TE3? Right now, the guy right now that looks like he could make it is Jordan Matthews. A year in the system now. He's a wide receiver turned tight end. And with Trey Lance going to be throwing a lot, Jordan Matthews might be that extra target that could arise out of that tight end group. Other guys that have at least raised eyes. Tanner Hudson had a catch on Monday. Obviously, we see George Kittle, but it was Tanner Hudson. And then Dwelly also was in the action on Monday as well. So there are a couple of names like that. One name that is noticeably absent right now is Tyler Kroft. He got $25K guaranteed. I haven't seen his name appear that much on the field, at least in terms of catches or in terms of play that type of way. But Kroft is a good run blocker. I'll see if that translates on Monday when pads are put on.
All right, man. There you have it, man. You have the exclusive players that stood out in day 2. We'll be online.
One more question.
Day. Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned some plays got marred by penalties. Just wondering if you took a tally of how many penalties happened throughout practice yesterday and what those penalties were and who committed them.
I didn't take a big tally. I know Skule committed 1. There were probably 3 or 4 flagged plays overall. I know Kittle had a false start, or it was either a false start or somebody jumped on the D line. It was in a section. It was weird because it was in a section of 3 or 4 plays where 3 of them were like straight penalties and they couldn't get a play starting because of the false start or whatever. But I'll keep an eye out more, but they just let it go. They just play on and continue to play half the time.
So there were more on the offense and not any on the defense?
I think there were like 1 or 2 maybe offsides, but mainly on the offense, yeah.
And then okay, so offsides or false starts,
there
mainly penalties in the trenches, no like PI, holding or anything like that?
There wasn't really, no.
Cool.
I could see holding. I know Skule did hold on one play that I could see, but they didn't call it. They don't really call it.
Okay. And no holding from the corners or anything like that?
No, corners did not hold. That was another impressive thing. I know we saw it with guys.
I'm glad you mentioned that because yesterday all I was getting was how handsy Ambry Thomas was because he's been having not a really good camp. And they kept saying, "Oh, he's so handsy," and I felt like he hasn't been handsy since his beginning weeks of last year.
It's the opposite with Thomas. It's not that he's handsy. It's just the 49ers, like, you do take his bad camp or whatever with a grain of salt because the 49ers have him playing 10 yards off the
why though? Like, why? That's not his game. Like, what are you trying to teach this guy? How to cover space?
It's because I think they're scared of his ability with the deep ball. But then again, you have to test it.
He has 4.3 speed. He's not going to get burnt deep. If he gets burnt, it's because somebody put a step on him and he bit hard on the step. But if you got him playing 7 to 10 yards off, it's underneath throws all day. He's going to give up the catch. Stop making it. He's a press man corner. I don't see Traverius Ward doing that shit. You ain't got him doing that shit. Right? Right?
No, you don't.
Well, you're right. You're right.
The funny thing is, Diameter Lenore, who's practicing on the outside, not a slot, right? So they have Thomas
is playing press man with 4.5 speed.
Okay, yeah. And the funny
So
thing,
the corner with 4.5 speed is playing press man, but the corner with 4.3 is playing 15 yards.
I'm frustrated, yo.
Make sense.
I can't.
So,
I guess they're trying to cross train him.
Yeah, and that's where like these reports about Thomas not having a great day come because Thomas, right? Like you can't necessarily blame him if he's 10 yards. Like on day one, right? I think he allowed maybe 2 catches, but you can't blame him when it's 10 yards when he's 10 yards off and the throw is a 6 or 7 yard slant in because he's so far off the ball. Because right as you start, it's a backpedal, and day one was without install. He did have one bad play yesterday where he was stride with Malik Turner, and then it was a deep ball, about a 50-yard ball from Sudfeld, and Thomas just jumped maybe 3 seconds too early. It was not a great sight for eyes, but he was stride with them. It's just he didn't make a good play at the catch point, and that was his one, in my opinion, his one pretty bad play. But he's been playing off. Like the Ayuk catch that I mentioned earlier, he was off on that, which allowed Ayuk to hit the post to George Odom over the middle.
I gotta tone it down because it's early in the AM. People probably watching that work, and I said the S word a couple of times. Listen, it's because of the frustration. That means that this season there's going to be some frustrating things that we're going to see that don't make sense. I was hoping they can get the don't make sense stuff out of the 49ers category, but for some reason, you drafted the kid that played press man in college. He was under Don Brown. That's what they played. He barely played zone. You're trying to teach him zone. I get it. That's the concept you're trying to put him in. But he's not Richard Sherman. Okay? Like, no one's Richard Sherman. I don't think anybody in the league will ever be a Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman had an elite brain capacity to play 35 yards off the guy and still make the guy miss the ball when he was at top notch, Richard Sherman, shape or whatever. I just don't think they're playing Ambry Thomas right. I think this is why he's struggling. If he, and I'm glad you gave us context behind it. We need Ambry to play Ambry football. And I tell you what, when you make him play like that, bro, he's always in his head. I don't know if y'all peeped that, but he's in his own head and he has to think. He has to think. He's not reacting. He's mistiming those balls.
Am I playing this right? Am I reading this right? Am I looking at the right way? Am I backpedaling too far? Because I'm already. He has to think too much. When I'm impressed, man, I'm in your face, and as a competitor, especially on the corner, if I'm in your face, impressed, man, it's me versus you.
Right.
I don't have to think about nothing but making sure I beat your ass right now. That's it.
Right. And I mean, like the receivers that he's going against are guys like Jawan Jennings and things like that, right? It's not like Jawan Jennings is like a deep threat that you have to worry about him being. And it's not always Jennings. I'm not saying it's always Jennings. But like you'd like to see someone try and press up on a 6'3", 215 guy rather than play 10 yards back and let Jawan Jennings get a nice 5 to 7 yard slant route, a nice 5 to 10 yard comeback route, that type of thing.
I will tell you that one thing that this does is it makes Ambry Thomas a better tackler because I do feel like he's closing back out on the ball and then he's making the tackle.
No, he's not freaking tackling in practice because it's no pad so far.
That's right. But I'm just saying, even in the regular season, he would.
If it does if this continues, then yeah.
Right. Because even in the season last year, when he would play off, every time I watched the lineup, I'm like, 5'7", and just can't get deeper and deeper. And I'm like, Ambry, either you're hurt and you're scared you're going to get beat deep, or they're making you play a certain way. I was like, I just couldn't figure it out. And then to see that he's starting training camp off the same way he started last season, he's in his own head. He's in his own head, and he's got to figure it out, and I think he will. Who's having a better camp, though, Lenoir or Ambry? Because one of them not making the squad.
So there have been 3 guys, right, that I've been watching with the backups. That's Tariq Castro-Fields running with the 3rd team, and then these 2 running with the 2nd team. Castro-Fields looked good on day 1 in the regular drills, right? In the positional drills, he made a nice catch. Castro-Fields does look like an NFL kind of corner, right? And the one thing that I liked, the 49ers changed it. They had Womack getting some run outside, and they had Castro-Fields inside during minicamp. During some part of it, they changed it to back to their normal positions. I think Womack is a slot corner. He knows it himself. And Castro-Fields is an outside corner with that speed, with the build that he has, and with the, like, his hip movement is a little interesting, right? It's not as fluid as others. And I think that gets a lot more exposed in the slot when you have routes that could go one way or the other. Whereas from the outside, it's one specific way, or it's a deep route or something like that. And so that's why I liked what the 49ers did. And Castro-Fields has looked solid so far. And if we're being honest, so far, just because one's gotten more attention than the other, and that's Thomas, I think Lenoir's looked a little better. But this is all with a little bit, like, it's all, like, not too important so far. I'll wait and see. But right now, I'll say Lenoir is looking better, although Thomas is the guy probably higher on the depth chart.
And there you go. And we're just look, it's like we said, day 2. Today's day 3. We're gonna see if things change. I did see Ambry Thomas out there, working after practice. He was still out there on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, so these guys are out there training, trying to get themselves, acclimated back to the speed of the game. I think Ambry's gonna be fine. Ambry just got to get out of his own head. As far as Lenoir, I'm definitely rooting for him. I'm just looking at this cornerback list, and there's some studs. I don't. There's not space for everybody, right? You can't keep 9 DBs, right? That's not what we do. Or do we? I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to go down. Quantrez Knight is there. Lavert Hill, Tariq Castro-Fields. We know Womack's there. It's going to be really cool to watch next week, because I want to see which of these DBs is going to make these tackles on these big running backs we got, because we got some powerful running backs. All right. So it was cool to get your insight on what's going on, man. And thank you for sharing with us, bro. Let everybody know where they can watch you and when you go live and all that good stuff, man. And tell them to check you out on Twitter, because you are posting.
Yeah, so be sure to check me out on Twitter. It's at Rohan Chakrav. A lot of training camp content is on there, and a lot of just the insight, right? If you want to hear on training camp of the day of, be sure to check me out there. And then my name is just my YouTube channel. I post daily live streams after when I go to camp, just recapping what I saw, breaking down the 11-on-11 sessions and who looked good and who didn't look as good. So be sure to check me out there. As for when I'm going live, I've got your boy on my channel today, John Chapman, today at 3 o'clock. It's going to be a blast. But as always, thank you both for having me on this morning.
We appreciate you, bro. Thanks for rocking with us, man. Listen, I got to open up these phone lines because I said I was. Here's the number right here. All right. Call now, 475-549-7849. We got 6 minutes left. Everybody got to get to lunch on the East Coast. We eat on a clock. So make sure you call in. You got 6 minutes. All right. Let's you can ask whatever you want. Rohan is here. Moses is here. Let's go, man. Y'all ain't got to ask me nothing because y'all already said I made you mad. 49 Media said I made him more tired. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Listen, if Ambry doesn't make the roster, it just means he's not good enough. My question was, why is he not playing to his strengths and he's playing to his weaknesses? And I get it. You want to make his weaknesses stronger, but stop make him play 3, 4, 5 the most.
Yeah, but they talking about a tantrum if Lavert Hill don't make it either.
Now I'm cool with Hill. I'm cool on that one. I'm cool on that. Now, thanks for reading that too, bro. I was reading an extra earlier comment, man.
Okay.
And there we go. We got the numbers calling in, man. Dang. As soon as you called in, it just hung up. All right, let's go ahead and call you back.
Hello.
What's going on? You're on the WayneBreezie show. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
What's going on, Breezy? It's Raul.
What's going on, Raul, baby?
What's up, man?
Chilling, man.
Yeah, I called you and Mike the other day when you were on NBN.
Got you.
Yeah, man. What's up, Mose? What's up, Rohan? You guys?
Yo, what's good?
Doing your thing. What's up? What's up? But yeah, you guys are on your game, Mose, Breezy, Rohan. You guys are doing it, killing it, and good observations, man. The way you guys come at it, the perspective you guys take, I feel like you guys are taking the words out of my mouth, pretty much with everything you guys are saying. And my thing is, with Ambry Thomas playing zone instead of press man, who's calling that shot? Is that the Miko Ryans, or is that Kyle Shanahan that's saying let's play them like this? What do you guys think? I was wondering, what do you guys think about? Because that's what I was questioning. I put it in the comments, but I know there's a lot of comments in there.
That's a good question, man. Listen, I tell you what, we're going to answer your comments off the air. We'll answer your question off the air if you don't mind. And we thank you for calling in so we can get to a couple of other callers before we hang up.
Sounds good. No problem. All right, shout out. Hit the like, subscribe.
Appreciate
right,
you, brother.
Appreciate that.
Stay up, stay faithful. Who wants to answer this, man? Who wants to take this?
I think it might be a little bit of D'Amico Ryans, and I mean, I said it, jokingly earlier, but I think there is some type of cross training, just because throughout the season we may have to go to a zone type of system, maybe depending on the team that we're playing, and the game plan. Even if that changes mid-game, we may have to go to zone. So I think maybe it's a little bit of cross training. We need to get Diamador a little bit more acclimated to playing some type of man coverage. We need to get Ambry a little bit better at playing zone coverage. So I think this just all a part of their learning curve to have them be better all around corners. So I think it's coming from D'Amico.
All right, there you go, man. We got D'Amico Ryans. Listen, we got a couple of callers we're going to get to right now. I'm calling you right now. I tell you what, when they call and they don't answer, they call right back. What's going on? You on the WayneBreezie show. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
Hey, you got Mr. G. How's it going, man?
What's going on, Mr. G? How you doing, fam?
I'm good. I was commenting about the Ambry Thomas situation.
Okay.
Mo's literally just took the words right out of my mouth as I was about to comment the same thing. I thought they were more working on his zone coverage. If you already know the man can play man-to-man, and so the time to work on his zone coverage technique would be the preseason or the training camp. So I don't have a problem with them doing that. If they did that during the game time, knowing he struggles with it, then I have a problem with it. But on the game day, they're always going to put you in the best situation possible. They've always done that. So I don't have a problem with them playing off man in training camp, just so he can learn to get better.
All right, man. And I appreciate you saying that. That gave me a little bit of relief. And that's what we've been talking about this whole time, right? This is what training camp is for. It's for you to sharpen those skills that you might be a little bit weaker on. But like you said, bro, if they do this now, and they got to do it in the regular season in order to test to see if it works, right? So they got to try it.
Correct.
But if he struggles with it, please switch out. Let him play press. Let him do something different because, we know Ambry Thomas has the dog ball skills. We just need him to play his style. And I think Ambry's issue is he just gets in his head. He's doing something he's uncomfortable with,
Yeah, I love the way Ambry played down the stretch at the end of the game. Even the plays he didn't make, the hardest part is being in position to make the plays. From there, it's just a matter of finishing off the meal. And that comes with time coming to practice. Every cornerback's going to get burned, from the best to the least, everybody. But you got to be in, first and foremost, be in position to make the play. And to be able to play the press man, you also got to have some zone capability so we can mix up the coverage, so we can force turnovers. So if you're playing press man and the defense is putting that pressure on, then you back off in that zone. They think, man, the receiver makes a move, boom, you got that interception because you're expecting man coverage. That's all that works together.
Got you, brother. Listen, man, we appreciate you. Thanks for calling in, man.
All right, keep doing good work, man.
Man, stay up, stay faithful, and thank you for the contribution, bro.
All right.
Peace.
Okay.
All right, we got one more caller, man. Take that number off because these numbers be calling in. I'm calling this number back right now.
You got there we go.
What's going on? You on the WayneBreezie show. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with, fam?
WayneBreezie. What's good, brother? It's your boy Trey from VA, man.
What's going on, Trey from VA?
Yeah.
Yo, man.
That's good.
How you feeling right now? How you liking things so far?
Great. Look. Props to Ro, props to Mo, everybody on the show, man. Long time listener,
Appreciate you
guys, man. Showing you love and props. But here's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Defense wins championships and quarterbacks win Super Bowls, right? We've had the defense for a long time to win a championship. do we have the quarterback, or more importantly, do we have the offensive line to protect the quarterback to win a Super Bowl? Because we've been there the last 2 out of the 3 years, and we haven't been able to get it done. What do you guys think about that?
This is a great question. Who wants to take this one? Rohan? Do we have the offensive line, or do we have the offense to help win the championship? That's the question, basically.
I think this offense can be sustainable enough to where our defense can lead us to a championship. I'll say that. So I'll say the answer is yes. And I'll also preface everything that we've been saying about the offensive line is without their two best players. Trent Williams has not been practicing. Mike McGlinchey has not been in scrimmage sessions. So the two guys at the most important positions on the offensive line haven't been there. And remember, this has a trickle effect. The guys on the left guard and right guard situation now have to worry about the right tackle and left tackle instead of just doing their jobs. So that's also something important. And remember, these are young guys in the interior. Spencer Burford is a rookie. Aaron Banks is in his first year starting. So that's also something important to note, while the guys right next to them are also young. Colton McKivitz and Jalen Moore. So I personally think when the offensive line is truly configured to the way that it's going to be week one, I think that they are going to be an average to a little above average offensive line, somewhere around that 15th range, because I think the players that they have on the offensive line fit what they want to do. They're going to run the ball well, which is the main thing about this offensive line. And I think with Trey Lance, even if their pass protection is a little worse than you might expect, it's not as bad. I saw it twice or three times yesterday with Lance rolling out and making a play out of the pocket. The 20 to 30-yard scramble that he had yesterday, alongside the pass to Ayuk that he threw cross-body. You're going to see Lance be able to scramble out of the pocket, and the 49ers are going to utilize that talent. So I'm not as worried about the offensive line as others are. I'm a little more optimistic towards it, especially when it's all said and done. But I do think that overall this team is good enough to where if Lance plays average quarterback play, the 49ers will be having a chance to make it to the Super Bowl, just like they did with Jimmy Garoppolo, although Lance now has the ability to potentially push them over the top.
There you have it, brother. There you have it.
And I think we also what Rohan said is what the defense will allow this team to do is the defense will allow this team to possess the ball more by, more 3 and outs, turning the ball over more. So when this offense has more opportunities to possess the ball, that's more chance for points. But it also gives the offensive line more chances to get better, right?
Mm-hmm.
We say everybody needs reps. Well, like Rohan said, when our two best offensive linemen come back and we figure out, who's on the interior and they build that cohesiveness, the more opportunities that they get in the game to figure out how they mesh as a unit, the more opportunities that they get to go against another defensive line that's trying to attack them, and they can build that chemistry and understand where each person is going to be and how they work and fit together. That's only going to make them better throughout the season. So the defense is really going to help them because they're going to give them more possessions to kind of figure out and iron all those things out.
See, when y'all on here, I ain't got shit to say. I don't have to say anything. When y'all say it, that's it.
Man, not you, Wayne. Not you, baby.
Not you, because
not you.
I got one answer. My answer is yes.
All right, let me hear it, and then I'm gonna get up out of here.
All right. So my answer is my answer is yes, bro. And the answer to the answer, is Trey Lance. And if you know what I mean by saying Trey Lance, you would know that I'm talking about his ability to do things that we haven't seen before. So I would say if Trey Lance was in that Super Bowl against Kansas City and those passes that we saw Jimmy get batted down because the offensive line was allowing those defenders to push them back, Trey Lance would have made a play. I'm not saying he would have completed the pass. He would have made a play. If you can understand what I mean by that, that's why I say Trey Lance.
Wayne, appreciate it, y'all, man. I'm up out of here, man.
Yes, sir.
One last thought. This offensive line is being forged in the fire. If you guys remember back in 2019 when Jimmy threw 5 picks, it is because they're going against the best D-line in football. Remember that. It won't be this hard on Sundays.
Got you, brother. This is why they getting built. I love it. Forged through the fire. Oh, you gave me an idea. Thank you for calling in, Trey. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, brothers.
Peace. We got 2 more callers we got to get back to, man. I hope you guys still rocking with us. I don't want to leave anybody hanging. I know we said we are going to end 5 minutes ago, but let's get to these callers. That's what it's all about. It's all about you. If we get the voicemail, we hanging up. That's what we doing. Hey, I'm feeling the voicemail coming on. You feeling the? Yo. There it is. All right. I was just giving it a shot.
A little bit of hope. Just a little bit of hope.
Because I was, I didn't want to give the intro out. I mean, this person left a couple of messages.
What's up?
What's going on, baby? You on that WayneBreezie 49ers talk show. What's good, baby?
What's going on? You know who this is, right?
I know who this is, right? Let's go. Troy, what's good, man?
Man, P. Warrior in the house.
Yes,
boy.
sir.
You know your family, man. I'm watching this show, man. You, Mose, Rohan on it, man. I want to ask about these running backs, bro. What is his thoughts on Trey Sermon versus TDP, man, once they put them pads on?
See, I mean, honestly, we can't give you that assessment evaluation you want until Monday. Come Monday, we talking running backs for at least 2-3 days. Running backs, defensive line.
But I'm trying to get his thoughts on what he think is going to be like before that.
All right, so
I know what's coming Monday.
Rohan, you were there. Which running back stood out to you so far?
So Sermon and TDP, like you said, it's a battle. They've been interchanged as that kind of running back too. The guys that I've seen get the most run, Hasty is the guy I think after them, and then it's Wilson, and then it's our guy Jordan Mason. Initial thoughts, I don't have many initial thoughts on those two guys specifically, but initial thoughts, Wilson is looking on the downtrend, Mason is looking on the uptrend. Mason looks like a NFL running back. He looks really nice. He's strong, he's physical, he's quick, and he had a nice catch yesterday, a 10-yard comeback catch. I like him. Right now, I like him alongside Hasty to compete for that 4th spot. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like Hasty. I don't personally like him as much too to make this roster. He's a little bit of a smaller back, and I think they have that with Trey Sermon. I think they probably I think they look like they're going to go with the Jordan Mason route right now. But Hasty has looked all right in practice as well. Had a catch on Wednesday. Mason had a catch yesterday. Running backs obviously will get a lot more action, but I like the way that Jordan Mason's approaching. He is approaching with a physical manner. It's no pads, and this guy is just running straight through that bleepy word. So he's going right at it, and that's something that I like about Jordan Mason right now. Wilson has looked a little slower, but overall, I'm gonna wait till pads come on to see who's got the best vision of the group, because a lot of people did chime in on Elijah Mitchell's vision or like lack of vision last year. I want to see, does he have an improved vision, or is one of these other guys potentially have better vision to be potentially like a higher potential running back for the 49ers? Because right now, I think it's Mitchell 1, Sermon and TDP are entrenched with RB2. Then it's Hasty, Wilson, at least in the depth chart right now. And then Mason is last. But let's see how it shakes up when training camp comes along with.
Okay, cool. That's what I wanted to know, man, because everybody was, talking about Trey Sermon in the year he had. I think he didn't came with the right mental approach. So I want to see what he do. So, man, just thanks for answering the question, Breezy. I'm always logged into you, bro, and just hit me up, man, because you know what we trying to do. So, Bose, appreciate you too, bro. Love you too. So, man, just great insight on that, man, and looking forward to what comes on Monday when they put them pads on.
P. Warrior, thank you, brother, for calling in, man. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Peace out, man. Stay up, stay faithful. Have a great weekend. All right, man. That's it for the calls. I'm closing this down. All right. So the calls are over. Listen, great show. Now, I got to get to a couple of contributions. And let me do those real quick, and then we can get on up out of here. All right. So contributions, man. We had some earlier, and they touched on things we talked about earlier. So I want to bring them back. We just could do a quick recap, rewind type of thing with Jiggy. Let's go with John V with the contribution. We were talking about Deebo Samuel or Rohan earlier on the show. You know what I'm saying? And we were talking about DK Metcalf's extension, and Deebo's probably going to be up next. I don't think Deontay Johnson's going to get one of these big type of deals. Then again, Pittsburgh might like him. He was a workhorse, and he was a sleeper in my fantasy league until he got hurt. He was producing. 81 million, 60 guaranteed, 27 signing bonus, 4 years. Does that get it done for Deebo Samuel? Or just give him 3 years, 78 million guaranteed, and top it off with a $25 million signing bonus? What are your thoughts on this? That's a lot of money.
I'm just trying to read this. So what I'm reading from it is 481, 4 years, 81 million with 60
60
guarantees,
guaranteed.
or 3 years, 78 million fully guaranteed. Is that what it
I
is?
think that's what that is. Fully guaranteed, and give him that 25 million
Oh,
check that
so
day.
I think neither of these are realistic. I'll give you my my Samuel contract thought, and it's looking at how these receivers are going. These receivers are smart. They understand that the NFL salary cap is about to explode next year, and they want to hit the open market as soon as possible. That's why you see a lack of 5-year extensions from the top guys this year, right? Or if it's like a 3-year extension, it might be piled to the 2, but you don't see a lot like many 5-year extensions from the 4th-year receivers. That's Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, and AJ Brown. Brown signed the longest one. He had a 4-year deal, and he was the first one to sign. The next two got 3-year deals. Remember, the 3-year deals are on top of what he has right now, so it's a 4-year extension with likely a 3-year opt-out clause. But McLaurin got a 3-year deal, 3 years, 71 million, and then Metcalf got yesterday the 3-year deal. Deebo Samuel is the oldest by far of any of these receivers. Metcalf is 24, Samuel is 26. I don't think Samuel wants a 4-year deal going into free agency as a 30-year-old receiver when receivers aren't being looked at as like
Premium
when you get
anymore.
older, they're not as much of a premium because you get these 15, 20 guys that can continuously do something coming out of the draft. So they aren't as much of a premium right now. So I'm thinking it's going to be a 3-year deal. I don't think it's going to be a fully guaranteed contract. 3-year, 78 might be the number. I think it could be around that 75, 78 range, maybe a little more than the 75 just because AJ Brown got 25 a year. So it might be just a little more than that, but I don't think it's going to be fully guaranteed. The guaranteed money will be very interesting. I think it will be around 65 to 70 max, maybe, but I'd say around 65-ish, 67.5 maybe million guaranteed. And the signing bonus will be the very interesting part because it's the 3-year deal, which means you only have 4 years to put that signing bonus around. And that might mean $7.5 million on signing bonus every single year. I don't know what the signing bonus will be because the 49ers just can't do that right now with their salary cap situation. So do they do that anyways and then wait for Garoppolo to get off his contract off for the 49ers to do it? Or do the 49ers give him a lower signing bonus, you give him a higher AAV and higher guaranteed money?
Yeah, and it's funny because we're going to end with that poll question, and that's what it was all about. Are we going to give you the higher guarantee, or do you want the higher signing bonus? Pick your poison. Which one is it going to be? Can't be both, right? And so financially, it can't be both, right? Not for us. It can for other teams, but just not for us. It just can't be both. We got one more contribution from Mr. G. We got the phone call from him. Let's give him the foghorn. Salary cap, and this is what he alluded to. The salary cap will balloon every year the next 3 years. Take that into consideration for when we're talking about inflating these contracts. But like Rohan, Mose, you guys were saying, listen, man, it doesn't make sense for Deebo to sign a contract more than 3 years, right? Because he's going to want to get some of that new money, that monopoly money. It's going to be new money. He's going to want to get in on that. And that's why I said his agent, doesn't he manage all these receivers we're talking about? Notice their deals, 3-4 years. And I think AJ Brown being one, like not the youngest, but being one of the younger ones, took that 4-year deal extension opposed to these other guys. But Deebo's going to look for the 3. And I think that's the issue, guys. I really do. I think the 49ers are trying to I think the 49ers are trying to offer the 5-year contract, and Deebo's like, I want a 3-year contract, and they're going to have to find somewhere in the middle in a 3.5-year contract or something like so with the 4 years, right? I think that's what it's coming down to. And then it's the guaranteed. And so let's go ahead and get to that poll question because I'm dying to know what the votes are. I haven't checked yet. And let's go ahead and end it. Okay, here we go. We got a lot of votes too. And the sexy people are back in the chat. I don't know where they come from, bro. Like they must have they got all the time in the world to create sexy bots. All right. What the hell does a sexy bot look like? I've been banning the bot. 49er Media. It's a new bot. All right, here we go. Poll question was, what will get Deebo's deal done quicker? More guaranteed money or a bigger signing bonus? And survey says 129 votes, 76% says the guaranteed money. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think it's the guarantee that's going to get this deal done quicker?
It's interesting. So for me personally, it's a tough question because guaranteed money is the more logical answer. But something that like I personally think it is the guaranteed money that'll push it. But the signing bonus is an underrated reason. It's the flashy number right now because when you have signing bonus attached to your name, the highest in NFL history, the biggest one. You're not going to get the most guaranteed money. That's at other positions. The receivers won't. But the highest signing bonus for a potential receiver, that's the one thing the first thing that I saw when I saw DK Metcalf's contract. Damn, that's
$30 million, y'all. $30 million.
That's crazy. Just having that in your bank account just one day. You sleep one day, the next day you got $30 million.
30. You know that TikTok, not TikTok, it's that what's that thing on Instagram Reels? I've been seeing it, and they be like, your bank account has $10 million. You ever see that thing?
Oh yeah, people do, like they put their phone on speaker and it's like your bank account available balance is $15 million. And then the family member in the background like
I think DK Metcalf should do that. Put one out. I guarantee he'll get 8 billion views, yo. But yeah, that's why that question was asked. Because after seeing that $30 million signing bonus, and DK watched his agent get that done. Now, how can the 49ers make that happen? They don't even have 27 million chilling. They got $1.5 million just chilling right now. Just about
a little more than that, but the point is, like, I think regardless, if the signing bonus is going to be that much, and if it's a short-term contract, you're going to have to find a way to create money, which is why I think Debo will return to practice once the deal is agreed to in principle, but I think it only becomes official when Garoppolo's off the book.
It's the only way.
Right, because even if you dumb down the salary, like he has a 4.89 cap hit right now, million cap. If you dumb that all down to the base 1 million, but you have a signing bonus that might be 7.5 million on the year, the overall cap hit is going to be 8.5 million.
Yep.
You might just not have enough cap space to be able to shoulder the hit. And why do a restructure? Why cut somebody when you have an easy way out, which you already are intending to do?
Yep. There it is. Now, there's a possibility. There's other ways to free up money, and I don't want to get into that because that would consider trading. And so we talked about Jeff Wilson Jr. having a downer camp. He possibly could be on the bubble for the 49ers, not to cut, but to trade. So especially if this Jordan kid is on the rise. So it's going to be very interesting to watch over the next couple of weeks, man. Speaking of Mega Millions, man, if you guys are playing, make sure if you win, you send $1 million to each one of us here. You know what I'm saying? Rohan, Mose, Peachy, Fair. You know what I'm saying? And we'll thank you for it. You know what I'm saying? Right here live on the show. All right, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend.
Bro, wouldn't that be a crazy contribution,
bro?
If one night we was on here and somebody was like, "Hey guys, so remember when you talked about that on the WayneBreezie show? Yeah, I won Mega Millions. So here's a $4 million contribution,
bro.
$5 million contribution. See,
if I won that, I would do that. So I ain't got to write off $4 million. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got to pay taxes on $4 million. So I would give it to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice gift.
You want to do it, so we have to pay taxes on that $1 million.
Exactly. Shh, don't tell nobody else. But nah, seriously, man. Listen, have a great weekend. It's gonna be hot over here on the East Coast. If it's hot out there on the West Coast, man, make sure you stay hydrated. Stay up, stay faithful. We'll see you guys on Monday. Nitty Gritty Niners Talk. All right, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, man. We'll see you then. Love y'all. Peace out, y'all. Have a great weekend. Woo!